Good afternoon, welcome to the Midday News, and to present it, my name is Amazing Katamanda with the headlines. 30 PF suspended parliamentarians threaten to take legal action. 10-year-old boy sodomized by a 25-year-old man of Lusaka.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the...
She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
And now the news in detail. Mines and Minerals Development Minister Paul Kabuswe has charged that the happenings at the Black Mountain on the Copper Belt are normal teething problems that have since been resolved by the authority. In an interview, Mr. Kabuswe told Camnet News in an exclusive interview that government has dealt with the challenges witnessed at the Black Mountain and that order has been restored.
Monday, 14th January 2022, a fracas was witnessed at the Black Mountain in Kitwe on the Copper Belt after security officers at the Black Mountain failed to contain the situation. Hundreds of lives were put at risk after several beneficiaries granted licenses to mine part of the Black Mountain flocked to the site without security features. Minister of Mines and Mineral Development Paul Kabuswe, when contacted for a comment, told Camnet News that any new initiatives comes with its own challenges and that what has been witnessed at the Black Mountain is a lesson which government is geared to solve.
That operation is new. It's the design that we did has never happened in the country. So whenever you are doing anything new, we expect certain teething problems. So we have since dealt with those teething problems. There was some kind of a rush where our safety people and the police, I think, were overwhelmed.
The minister adds that the situation at the Black Mountain has been resolved and that going forward, safety talks will be given to the miners every morning, and has assured that such kind of behavior will not be witnessed going forward.
Emphasized that every morning there should be a safety talk, and people must be guided, especially the chrome pickers, because that's where the challenges were, those that pick the chrome. So I had a Zoom meeting today with the people in Kitwe, and we discussed. You realize I was there also yesterday, and I toured the place. I was assured by the operator and the safety department that all areas that were looking like they would collapse have been actually taken care of. They have done the benching.
Mr. Kabuswe also says the government is working at ensuring that landowners whose properties contain minerals become shareholders to the mines.
That we need to harmonize the fact that if you are a mineral is of course there are issues of surface rights and underground rights. So but if something is found on your land, I think it's important to give respect to the title owner of that parcel of land. That also should be their equity in that mining arrangement. I think it's important that we look at things like it's about time Zambians begin to own these things.
Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Leader of the opposition in Parliament, Brian Mundubile, has charged that the executive is interfering with the legislature. This is in line with the decision by the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Attractor Chesangano, to suspend 30 PF members of Parliament from the National Assembly for 30 days. 30 Patriotic Front members of Parliament were Thursday afternoon suspended for breach of parliamentary privileges in accordance with the Section 22 Powers and Privileges Act. The ruling is in the wake of the behavior exhibited by the MPs in 2021, where they threw in the chambers of the Speaker, thereby disrupting the business of the House.
Last year, Patriotic Front members of Parliament walked out of the House when Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Attractor Chisangano, allowed the debate on State House to proceed despite the objection from Leader of the Opposition, Brian Mundubile. However, the matter was deemed out of order and the ruling was reserved. Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Attractor Chisangano, announced the ruling which saw the suspension of 30 PF members of Parliament from the National Assembly for 30 days.
I wish to inform you that in accordance with Section 28(3) of the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, during the period of your suspension, you shall not enter the precincts of the Assembly, and this extends to the National Assembly Motel. You shall not participate in an activity of the Assembly or any committee that you are signed in your capacity as Member of Parliament. You shall not be paid the salary or allowances that you are entitled to as a member. I now order you, suspended PF members of Parliament, to immediately leave the proceedings of the House on 30 days suspension.
Opposition Patriotic Front Mpolokoso constituency lawmaker Brian Mundubile, during the media briefing in Lusaka Tuesday, accused the executive of interfering with the legislature.
Change that the Zambian people fought for. He's beginning to manifest his ugly face. We want to stand with the Zambian people to defend the doctrine of separation of powers, where the executive must stay away from the other organs of the state. We want a parliament that is going to function independently, independent of the executive function. We want a judiciary that is going to operate independently, and that is what we, as your members of parliament, are going to fight for. What we are seeing now is a very sad story. It makes very sad reading in our democratic dispensation.
Whether what you are pronouncing and what you are implementing are one and the same. We will be happy to see whether this action taken will help our people in seeing the prices of the best commodities coming down. We need to address the cost of living for our people, which is affecting our people every day. People are committing suicide because life has become unbearable. And if we avoid the real issues, we start focusing on pet issues, it will be very unfortunate for this nation.
And PF Lukasha constituency Member of Parliament George Chisanga says they will take legal action on the matter.
Those who have been suspended actually operate from will have been denied the right to interrogate the statement that was made by the President on the floor of the House. So for me, it's a dark day of constitutional democracy in the country, and we have deliberated as members of Parliament for the Patriotic Front, and we have taken the decision that we're going to make a legal challenge to the decision that was made by the Speaker of the House of Parliament of the National Assembly today. We are about to go and speak to our lawyers. We want to take legal action to make sure that we remedy this situation.
In the meantime, PF Acting President Given Dubinda says PF members of Parliament are not bothered by the allowances they get at Parliament because it is not a major driving factor but representing the people of Zambia.
Monuments even before you became members of Parliament. Amen. Some of you are even losing money because of being members of Parliament. So you're not there. All of us. Having been a parliamentarian myself, I know what I'm talking about. So, don't be bothered about them talking about emoluments, because after all, you're not there for emoluments. You are there to represent your people, to represent the people.
Well, will the suspension of the 30 members of parliament affect proceedings, especially when it comes to debating bills? For now, we can only wait and see as events unfold. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
A mother of Lusaka's Chunga compound has called on organizations campaigning for human rights to help in getting justice for her 10-year-old son who was allegedly sodomized on the 5th of March 2022.
This mother of Lusaka's Chunga compound is worried about her 10-year-old son after he was allegedly sodomized by a 25-year-old male neighbor who is also believed to be HIV positive. Cases of sexual gender-based violence have continued to be on the rise, despite various attempts to sensitize community members about the dangers of the vice. According to the 2021 fourth quarter statistics on gender-based violence from the Zambia police, the country recorded 7,920 cases countrywide. Gender disaggregated data indicates that 1,814 of them were child victims, with 74% of child victims being girls and 26% being boys. Miss Mary Chewe, whose names have been changed, says it was on 5th March 2022 that her son with autistic tendencies mentioned the alleged cases of sodomy which have been happening to him. She has, however, called on human rights organizations to come in and help in pushing the matter legally, stating that there is pressure from the said family to settle the matter out of court.
Nikamba ya problem ya mine natika pali uyo. Pameneivinatika pa pezi pa Friday on 5th March. After 10 days so much pamene nachuka kunchito ine ninafika kunyumba kambiri kaili uyu ni special child. So kambiri kafika kunyumba nimafunza mwana alikuti samo alikuti. But on that day pamene nafunza was very quiet. Nifika ku living room napeza mwana alia. Nichani atawe sindine kaili kamba kwake sama kamba kodi mumene makambira banzangi. Alikuwa na problem. Anapoa kumtibati mami sindine nezo vifuna. Ninapoa na dabo. Ewe mamuna ngakugwire so because nesina available. That was the first time. Na mufuzi safuta again namuzi bachabe the same. Ati nama wanabura nitenga. Means it 2 times. Per Thursday and the following Friday. Nateza kutenga bwanji ambosta explain nateza nitegera kunyumba ezabura kunyumba and anapeza po sister wangani watate bayi mwaposha bwanji au singa piti kumfanyumba because ni kudala atenga na mwana manjala kani mugule kwa majigi. Is that how they went kuja kumene waenda kuja kanshi munjira kuja bavichinja noendo kunokira pa macheche somewhere no muza tia yabako vula.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of Unreached Areas Safe Homes, a non-governmental organization advocating for human rights, has also spoken out on the matter.
And then what has surprised me is this man was apprehended here in Chunga by the Chunga police post officers. And then he was there, I think, for 3 days, and then we were told he was transferred to Matero Police. Now, it has been 10 days since the man was taken to Matero Police. So today I was asking the in charge of the Child Protection Unit to ask if at all he has received this case, and he expressed ignorance. He said, no, I'm not aware of it, but I'm going to follow it up to find out if this person is in our custody. That's when I said, please follow up the matter, because we need to see that the case goes to court and starts proceeding, so that justice is done on this person.
Mr. Charles Mukuka was speaking to Camnet News. Sexual abuse has far-reaching consequences on victims, among them inability to have normal relationships, a negative effect on mental health, and often leads to poor performance in school due to emotional instability, hence robbing the nation of the much-needed human resource. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Stepsister to murder accused Nigel Mwaba has testified before the Lusaka High Court that her younger brother told her that the late Dr. Tarsila Tembo was an animal who did not deserve to live. This was in a matter in which the 33-year-old Mwaba, an army officer, is accused of murdering his girlfriend, Dr. Tembo, between the 24th and 26th of October 2020 after she decided to end their relationship.
As the court sat to hear testimony of how Dr. Tarsila Tembo disappeared and the next thing she was found dead, emotions filled the courtroom. Carol Simvuke, best friend to the late, could not hold back her tears after she testified that murder accused Niger Mwaba told her that the deceased was an animal and did not deserve to live. This horrific murder case, described as a passion of crime, is said to have occurred between October 24th and 26, 2020, when 33-year-old Army officer Mwaba allegedly killed his girlfriend, Dr. Tembo, after she decided to end their relationship. The state witness on stand, who also happened to be the stepsister to the accused, testified before a High Court judge how she was informed by the late that the accused wanted to expose her obscene images if she leaves the relationship. Further evidence before court indicates that the accused was verbally abusive and he threatened the latter of exposing her obscene images on social media and to her daughter if she dared to leave him. Ms. Mfugwe testified Dr. Tembo went missing and this got her worried, hence filed a report of missing person. This is after she questioned her young brother of the deceased whereabouts. She testified that her brother, who was said to have been the last person to see the deceased, shouted at her after she questioned him over her whereabouts, and his response to her was that she had nothing else to do with Dr. Tembo anymore. In this case, Niger Mwaba stands charged with 1 count of murder, contrary to the laws of Zambia. Dr. Tembo's body was discovered in a decomposed state, covered with leaves, and was partially burnt at a traditional burial site in Nikang Army Training Center in Mikango Barracks area. The matter has since been adjourned to the 24th and 25th of March 2022 for continued trial. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
This brings us to the end of our midday news, but before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. 30 PF suspended parliamentarians threaten to take legal action. A 10-year-old boy sodomized by a 25-year-old man of Lusaka. Thank you for joining us. My name is Amazing Katamanda. Good afternoon.